Hi, I'm Smriti, and I'm basically here to talk about comfort zone. A lot of the keynote speakers they mentioned courage and comfort zone and growing out of it. But what exactly is comfort zone? So first, I had this slide which is basically of no use. Now these are some or I can do a quick introduction of me. I'm currently the head of artificial intelligence at Earthbanc, and I'm also working on an open source, inclusive, peer to peer community called Airplane Alliance, where we wish to collaborate, co create, and share that knowledge. And if anyone's interested, then hit me up wherever, like LinkedIn, email, anywhere they want. And here is some basic, not so important piece of information about me, which I would like to share with you guys. So I am from India, but I love Stockholm and I would love to live in Sweden forever. And my family is still in India, but I live with my boyfriend and some of my awesome friends in Sweden. And I think they're watching or listening to me, so hi. And um, I am very religiously a Coca Cola person. So I think that's enough non relevant information about me. So let's take a minute and think about comfort zone and what it really is. And are you still in your comfort zone, or are you putting in some efforts to grow? Or and is it possible to grow inside your comfort zone, which is a very important question if you want to do something new or try something new or succeed in life. So, to me personally, as I was an introvert growing up, I always refrained from trying anything new. I used to go to school, come back, and repeat. So, I did not give myself a room to grow. And I'm saying that I did not do it because now when I think of it, it was completely in my control. So, I was subconsciously keeping myself from doing anything I was definitely capable of. And which I eventually did decide to do, and that's why I think I'm giving a talk here today. So, here I have a quote which says, comfort zone is the great enemy to creativity. Moving beyond it necessitates intuition, which in turn configures new perspectives and conquers fears. So, these are going to be some key elements of the talk today. When you talk about creativity, you talk about new ideas, new perspectives, innovations, and you talk about things that haven't been done before and trying out new things, which basically can rarely happen when you think inside a box or when you think inside your comfort zone, which I tried to show by this circle. Like creativity could be anything. It could be a child drawing a circle or scribbling something, but it- that's something that a child thinks of, like holding a pen by a child is something new that he does that he's not used to, which is not his comfort zone. So once you understand the need to step out of it, and that comfort zone is a subconscious state of mind, you are exposed to so many new perspectives, new experiences. You may love some, you may like some, and you may dislike some, but then this is the way that you'll find your true calling, and you'll realize what you actually want personally and professionally. And in this process, you need to conquer your fears, and we'll talk about it soon. So, let's talk about a little bit about comfort zone itself and what it actually is. So the phrase comfort zone was coined by a management thinker, Judith Bartwick, in 1991 in her work which is called Danger in the Comfort Zone. So basically, a comfort zone is a subconscious state in which things feel familiar to a person. They're at ease and control of their own environment, like experiencing low levels of anxiety and stress. And all of us know that that's not how life usually is. So let's focus a little bit on the diagram here, which shows four zones: the comfort zone, the fear zone, the learning zone, and the growth zone. So when leaving comfort zone, fear necessarily doesn't equate to being in the panic zone because it's a necessary step that you have to take. As Ellie also mentioned in her talk, that there will be fears and you have to conquer them. So that's a very important point. But how would you go from comfort zone to fear zone? And the answer, according to me, is courage. So basically, in fact, when I think of it, courage comes first in every way. Courage is the secret ingredient which lets you act despite your fears. Courage gives you the ability to put aside your fear of failure and take the first steps. Courage helps you overcome the fear of rejection and attempt things that you have not tried before. And confidence is the outcome. It takes courage to step from comfort zone to fear zone, and it is very normal to be anxious while doing so. Yet, it is so rewarding when you enter the learning zone. This is where you deal with new challenges, you learn new skills, and you gain confidence as a result of those activities that you have done earlier. As a result of you putting up with something that you were scared of, you gain confidence. And after a learning period, a new comfort zone is created or your own comfort zone is extended. And when you see yourself setting new goals for yourself and celebrating something, even for a small achievement of yourself, you're in the growth zone. And this is where you can also see some behavioral changes and like you feel along the way. And it is very important to acknowledge those behavioral changes because you're growing as a person. So it's not like and it's completely normal to have changes in your behavior or changes in the way you think, because that's almost what the whole process is. And I personally think this diagram is extremely accurate, and I think that I have been through all the stages of it. So comfort zone, my comfort zone was basically my regular life where I just wanted, like, I just went to school, came back home, slept, and repeat. And until the day I wanted things to change, that was my comfort zone. Enter fear zone. I decided that things should change, yes, but how? I was scared of the outcomes. I was scared that I might do it wrong. I was scared that I might fail, and I hate failing. Then, but then I eventually did it, like very intuitively, but I did it. And when I acted on it, and when I acted on what I had planned previously and was experimenting things myself, for example, my solo trip, some of my internships that I did, and I still continue to like be in the learning zone, which I was like 2 years back, because I think that you learn new things every day. And growth zone, I think I might be in the growth zone right now, but I would like to, but I think and I consider myself to be somewhere in the intersection of learning zone and growing zone, which I think will always go side by side, in my opinion. And so far, I have expanded my comfort zone to that point, and I think everyone can do it. But why should you go through all the efforts when you can just be comfortable, right? So we will talk about that also. But then here's the concept of comfort zone, which traces long back in the past, up like until 1907, where Robert Yerkes and John Dodson they conducted first experiments which relate anxiety and performance. So they described this link between the both. They saw that a mice became more motivated to complete mazes when electric shocks were given with an increasing intensity, but only up to a certain point. When it reached a certain point, certain threshold, the mice started to hide instead of trying to find their way out. And this is seen in humans as well. So the corresponding behavior has been seen in humans as well. In response to anxiety provoking stimuli, the options are either fight, which is meet the challenge, flight, which is hide or run away, or freeze, which basically is being paralyzed. So the Yerkes Dodson law can be applied to several scenarios, such as being in a stressful new such task at work, but it also can be applied to a lot of areas in life, such as understanding ourselves, relating to others, like understanding, being in others' shoes, like empathizing with someone, and so on. The core idea is that a nervous system has a Goldilocks zone of arousal, too little, you remain in the comfort zone where boredom, fatigue, sleepiness hits, and too much, you enter the panic zone and the performance is not as good as you would want it to be. So, as I mentioned, why should we step out of our comfort zone? When we are living luxuriously in our comfort zone, have nothing much to do in life, but then you won't grow as well, and everyone wants to grow, right? So, here are a few key reasons. A growing mindset. So, a Stanford psychologist in 2008, Carol Dweck, she performed an experiment um, which where she analyzed the mindset of people, and there were two types of people with fixed mindsets and with growth mindsets. So according to Dweck, in a fixed mindset, people believe that the basic qualities like their intelligence or talent are simply traits. Alternatively, in a growing mindset, people believe that they're the most basic abilities and they can be developed through dedication, hard work, and brains and talent. They're just the starting point and you can just achieve whatever you want, which creates a love for learning and resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. The second point is strong and resilient, and which is very important, of course, and I really do not need to explain this after the talk that Ellie gave today. And basically, life is extremely unpredictable, and stepping out of your comfort zone will make you stronger and more resilient as a person. And you'll be able to tackle new challenges, and you tend to become more adaptable even when life becomes unpredictable. Stepping out of your comfort zone boosts your self efficacy, which is mentioned by Albert Ventura in the year 1997. This is the belief in being able to execute necessary actions in service of a goal. So, leaving comfort zone means a phase of trial and error, which at some level, at a certain point, or at a certain level, success is inevitable. So experiencing this success builds our self-efficacy with belief in our ability, and we start to grow as a person. New opportunities and experiences, which is obvious. It allows you to gain new experiences, improve your skills, take advantage of opportunities for personal and professional growth. And the last point, which was actually the reason why I decided to step out of my comfort zone, is self actualization. And I think it acts as a powerful incentive to leave comfort zone for most people that at least I've spoken to. So, self actualization is the realization of one's complete potential and full development of one's abilities and appreciation for life. And as you know, life is very short and unpredictable. You really want to do what you can while you're here. So these are some of the very important points why I think I left my comfort zone or expanded it, or why anyone should. So how to come out of comfort zone can also be a good question, right? But it can be pretty subjective. I also would like to say that these are my opinions and based on my experiences. So the first thing obviously is taking small steps, like set small goals, redefine success. Basically, success need not be making a lot of money. Like redefine success for yourself. Know what you want. Try invest some time in understanding what you want and redefine success for yourself. Take small steps and celebrate the little wins. And this is also something that my boyfriend keeps telling me all the time. So that's basically his point that I stole here. Always prioritize your tasks in order to avoid panic. Share and communicate with the people you trust, anyone. And if you find me to be that person, which I doubt after how much I'm stuttering today, you can anytime talk to me, and I would love to share and talk about these things or about AI. And always ask for help if you need it. There's nothing wrong with it. Everyone needs help, everyone asks for it, and everyone gets the help required only if they ask for it. So always ask for help if you need it. And understand your subconscious mind determines your comfort zone, and that's something that you need to understand that our brain is extremely malleable and it'll structure itself as you want it to be. And yeah, so basically, I'm also not saying that you should never step out of your comfort zone, because sometimes it's okay to sit back and relax in your comfort zone, recharge yourself, give yourself a little needed break. But it's important to identify what areas in life or the bottlenecks where staying in your comfort zone is doing more harm than good, and you should switch then. That's all. And once you realize that, make use of that intuition and make changes where you think the changes are required. And obviously, it's very important, very important. I can't stress enough to take small steps. And you might fail sometimes, and it's also okay to fail. And so basically, just understand that you can control your comfort zone and you can define it, and there's nothing else that defines your comfort zone. So this would be my journey, which is on a pink and a black slide. And coincidentally, that was the first book I ever read when I was in standard 5, like in 5th grade. I read a book called Pink and Black, which was the first book that I read. It was a chick flick, which I don't read anymore. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's a kind of embarrassing fact about me out there. So in 2015, I started my undergraduate degree at PES University in Electronics and Communications, and I uh, specialized in signal processing. I was not the most popular student, kind of an introvert, did not talk much to people, but I did uh, sort of start realizing that it needs to change. And I used to participate in, tried to participate in events. Initially, I had zero interaction with people, but it grew later. I started interacting a little more with people, and that's when I got the opportunity to work on one of the first all student nano satellites that was launched by the Indian Space Research Organization, and I worked on that, and we launched the satellite. And then I worked on some optimizations on that satellite, and I got a chance to present the findings in the International Astronautical Federation held in Bremen, Germany in 2018. And my intuition said, do not just go present the paper, do a solo trip, explore Europe. And to give you a little backstory, I'm introverted, plus my family is extremely protective of me. So I had never been alone anywhere ever, not even to, like, basically not even 500 meters. So I decided to do a solo trip, which was fascinating, yes, but extremely scary in my head. But then I did the trip, 40 days in Europe, explored 12 countries, and it was the best time. I met the best people. I had really good experiences. During the conference itself, it was so nice. Like, I met to know, I got to know so many nice people. Attended the speech by SpaceX, which was pretty cool. Went to see the manufacturing of Mercedes and some really cool things. And met amazing people, had nice experiences. I think I said that. So basically, it sort of changed my views, and I was more open to new experiences, because I realized that maybe not everything would be positive, but most of it would be. So in 2009, I came to Sweden to do my bachelor thesis at KTH in computational neuroscience under Professor Pavel Herman, who is the best person, best professor. He used to answer my emails at even 2 a.m. in the night. So, yeah. And I left Stockholm and I stayed here until June of 2020, and I continued my research, which is basically to study the patterns in the human brain and analyze why people lose memory, and for like what happens basically in diseases like amnesia and dementia. And then in 2020, I had an awesome summer with my friends. And then that's the time I was also looking for a job, because I did not want to uh, go back home to India. I wanted to stay in Sweden. So I was looking for a job, and I did a lot of networking, met a lot of people who I am friends with now, still, which is awesome. And then I got the job as the head of AI at Earthbanc in August of 2020. And then here I am talking about my life with you guys, which is basically, I don't know how interesting it is. You can tell me that later. So, yeah, I think this is an interesting thing to present because, as compared to what I used to do earlier, which was going to class and then going back home and not doing anything else in life, or maybe reading a little bit, actually a lot. But yeah, basically now I love shooting and I'm really good at it, so no one should be my enemy. And traveling, I love traveling, as you probably know by my solo trip experience. And especially the north, I love the snow and I love northern lights and everything about northern lights. And I think I'm going to cry the day I see them, which is true, absolutely. And learning, I love learning. I think you learn every day. I learned so much today during all these presentations. And so I just find a way to learn. And I like to be the person who knows things about any topic. Like, I would not like to sit in and just be like, okay, I like to be the person who chips in some piece of information and adds some value to any place where I am. And that's why I love reading any sort of thing in any way possible. And I can also like tell a little bit about what I basically do at Earthbanc right now. So at Earthbanc right now, I develop carbon verification and monitoring models. So using deep learning, specifically the convolutional neural networks, the CNNs. So basically, carbon verification is only accessible to 50% of the landowners. Um, so carbon verification in the first place means that if you have a land, if you own a land or a forest, they verify how much carbon has been sequestered there, and then you get some money for that, or you get some credits for that. So it was initially accessible only to 15 people who had land area more than 1,500 acres, but now with the models that I'm building with my team at Earthbank, it's accessible to people who have even 0.06 acres of land, which we are doing using satellite images and developing more robust models. Obviously, it requires a lot of data, which is an issue, but we are getting there. And we're trying to develop the model and make it robust, more robust every day. And we're also sharing the revenue 50-50 with the people who are actually working on the ground and planting the trees and conserving them, so that they can get a better life as well. Otherwise, they would indulge in illegal cutting of wood or poaching animals, which would be extremely bad for the environment. We are working towards the 2030 goal of the Paris Agreement, the 1.5-degree goal, to reduce the global temperature by that amount. So that's what I basically work for at the moment. And you can ask me questions about it if you're more interested about knowing anything about that, or talk to me on LinkedIn about it. And this is a very interesting picture that I wanted to put here also because it has Sweden's flag and it has some of my very awesome friends and my boyfriend. So this is the picture of the day when we went to see Spain versus Sweden match, football game, and it was a nice day. And yeah, so basically I love them. So yeah, this is how you can reach me. And now thank you for listening and being so kind and patient, and now I'm all yours for the Q&A. And also hit me up on LinkedIn if you want to. I can't wait to meet you all. Thank you.
Hello. Smitri, thank you so much for your
Hi.
talk.
Thank you.
And thank you for
I was stuttering.
it's fine. Did you? I didn't notice. No, it's fine. And thank you for introducing such interesting tools and concepts and for identifying zones we commonly find ourselves in and suggesting zones that would be more conducive to self-development, as well as contextualizing these concepts with your own personal experience. I think that was incredibly insightful.
Thank you.
Welcome. So of course, question time. So we move over to Q&A and some questions we have for you. We can begin with number one. What do you recommend for someone starting a career in AI?
So, what I would recommend is AI is something that you get better at with practice, is what I learned. So, it's okay if you don't have a background in AI. What I would recommend is try and keep up with the trend, which itself is a big thing to do. Um, but you can just start with the basic algorithms and then just read as much as possible, and you need to have this mindset of learning all the time, and I think that's enough when it comes to AI. It's not something that's very difficult to do. You just need a little bit of coding, like fluent in at least one language. Python or R works really well. And yeah, I think how started my career in I basically did not have any experience. I just was interested in computational neuroscience and I applied, and I learned when I was working. So there's basically not no one way to learn. It depends on person to person, but these could be a few.
Okay, I hope they find that very helpful. And we can move on to the next question, which is, what was the first time? Oh no, actually, based on your experience, what is your biggest challenge in which you've been out of your comfort zone?
Sorry? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So, based on my experience, the biggest challenge was definitely the fear of rejection. I do not like fear of rejection and fear of failure. I do not like failing. And like if I set my mind to something, I want to get it. Like even if it's a very high goal that I should not basically be targeting. But that was definitely that it for me. And what helped me, I know that's not a part of the question, but what helped me was basically talking to my friends and my boyfriend about it. So talking to people and knowing that okay, this is something everyone feels and it's normal to feel that, helped me a lot.
So would you say having a supportive network helped you through the challenges?
Yes, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. And that supportive network could be anyone for like, yeah, it need not be a person I know, I think. I got a lot of support from Ellie on LinkedIn and Gabby. I don't know if she's joined the session or not, but Gabby. So these two people, I've never met them, but I feel that they have inspired me a lot in a lot different ways. So yeah, it could be a virtual net connection, someone you know personally, anything.
Yeah. I have to agree. I've connected with Ellie also, and I think she's been incredibly inspiring and helpful. So a little shout out to
I would
Ellie.
not exactly. I would never have written my first post on LinkedIn if it wasn't for Ellie.
Ellie, I hope you're hearing this. So, and we have
I
a
love you, Ellie.
yeah, we have a final question. What was your first win that made you confident that you were doing things right?
Um, I think that when my paper got accepted at the International Astronautical Federation and I was chosen as the presenter, like for the paper, so that's, I know it's not really like a very small one. Like if you talk about a small one, like a really small one, I would say that I got me getting an internship at the Indian Space Research Organization. It was just out of like it was out of like 400 people and they chose 40. So that's not too difficult to get in ideally, but I was happy when I got it. And there was this, I have to admit this, there was this person who was like a complete nerd and she didn't get in and she didn't speak to me for like a month.
Okay, so it's competitive.
Yeah. She was competitive. I am too, but not when it comes to studies.
Okay, well, I'm glad you got that internship also. That sounds really wonderful. That placement. Okay, well, thank you so much, Smriti, for your fantastic chat and sharing your insights and personal experience. It's really great.
Thank you so much for the event, like organizing the event and giving me the chance to reach out to a few people. And I hope at least some people liked it and are inspired by it. And I would definitely like to give one more shout out to all my friends who have always been so supportive and so awesome. And there was a picture, the guy holding the GoPro was Sidwin, who was also one of my closest friends. So, yeah. Even today, he was like, "You don't need encouragement, but all the best." So that helps, like having a really good network of people always helps. So find yourself right people, don't be with toxic and people who do not understand you and demean you. That's very important.
Agreed. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah. Bye.